So what we get on the right here is a number of tabs. We're on the Overview tab by default, and on this tab we get some dials and some charts. And all of this is very customizable. So let's have a look at some things to do with memory to see how these work. By default, the first style anyway is the use Java heap memory, and that's showing as being about 146 meg. It actually just went up for fraction then on my machine for my running copy of Eclipse. Let's say we're interested in the amount of Eden space that's been used. Well, we could add in a dial to tell us that. We need to click on the green plus, and there's quite a few of these green pluses, so make sure you pick the one in the dashboard section. And that pops up a window with all the different things we could possibly try and look at. Now, I'm interested in the Eden space for this particular example, so we can filter to find that. What's important is the way the filter works is that if I just type in, for example, the word Eden, it's not going to find anything because it's going to be looking for things that start with the word Eden. So if I put an asterisk in at the start, that will match anything with Eden in the name. So it's found the G1 Eden space, and we'll need to expand this section. And actually, let's expand the usage section, and in there we'll find used. So that will tell us how much of the Eden space is used. That I think will be interesting to look at. So we'll select that and click on finish. And that's created a new dial here, and it's telling us the Eden space is about 90 meg used, and that will change very slowly over time. And it's just changed there to 91. The name it's given us here is used Eden space, but if, for example, that hadn't given us a meaningful name, we can right click and choose edit display name and change the value there for that particular dial. So you can add in dials here, and there's, as you saw in this drop down list, a huge amount of things we could choose to look at. Let's have a look at the graphs. Right now there are two graphs here called processor and memory, and we can add lines to each graph using the plus symbol within the different graph box. So let's take the processor box. I can only add statistics that are compatible with the existing statistics on this graph. So for example, I can't add Eden usage to the processor box because that's an incompatible statistic. If I click on the plus symbol here and do my search for Eden, we'll see that the different statistics here are grayed out. That means that they're incompatible. I can't add it to that particular graph. I'm guessing I could add it though to the memory graph. That would be compatible there. Let's try it and see. And yes, the used option there isn't grayed out, so we could indeed add it to that graph. And the other thing we can do here is add in additional graphs. Now to do that, you need to click on the green plus right at the top of the page up here. And that will create a new graph here. And because there's nothing at the moment in this chart, we can add anything we like in, nothing will be grayed out. So you could explore this to try and find things. I think let's have a look at these survivor spaces. So we'll need to put in the asterisk and here's G1 survivor space. And well, maybe let's choose peak usage this time and use there. And we'll see how the peak usage for the survivor space is changing over time. And there is a little pink line there you might just be able to see, and we'll hopefully over time see that value change if we watch this for long enough. So that's the overview tab. Let's have a look at some of the others.